And then the whole island is corrupted by darkness.
So basically me in 7th grade.
You are...
Edward Elric.
Oh.
Edward Elric, the Fullmetal Alchemist, the main character of a series called Fullmetal Alchemist, in which he and his brother go across the land searching far and wide for a way to restore their bodies after they committed an alchemic crime, an act against God, if you will. All the while, they are being tried to be killed, because I can speak. People are trying to kill them, and other people are trying to use them as a way to, become God. Your average Friday for a 12-year-old. Or 15-year-old. I don't remember. I had a weird resurgence recently where I got back into Fullmetal Alchemist. It was like super random, but I've loved this series since I was in 8th grade. I'm a sophomore in college at this point, just to let you know. So I was like, yeah, you know what? Edward Elric, Smash Kid, because that's how my brain works. We've established this. I've done a talking cucumber in Smash Bros. So, I think the alchemic run is not going to be that much of a difference. In fact, I think this would have a better chance at getting in Smash. But anyways, not to mention that Edward Elric and his abilities that we see throughout Fullmetal Alchemist are just so unique that, I think he'd be an interesting Smash fighter. And that's what this video is for. That's what this series is for. Hello, Internet! Welcome to Smash Theory. That's what this series is. So, not to waste any more time, let me ask the question that I don't think anyone was asking, but now I hope someone is, because it's an interesting concept, surprisingly. What if Edward Elric joined Smash Bros? So this is a kit I've wanted to do for the longest of times, and I want to tell y'all everything about it, right now, but I can't because spoilers, watch the video. So there's two things to know about Edward Elric. Number one, he does hand-to-hand combat. A lot. He's thrown hands with hundreds of people, including his own dad.
Edward, I didn't think...
That felt good.
And number two, oh boy, does he have his alchemy. Committing an act against God gives you powerful alchemy. Who knew? All this to say that his moveset's going to be insanely versatile, including a lot of hand-to-hand combat and also a lot of alchemy split off into different sections. He also has some weaponry that he's able to transmutate using his alchemy, but I'll get to those much later. Anyways, Edward will be a lightweight fighter. Just because he has automail limbs doesn't mean he's not short enough to, it's a weird balancing act. He'll have 2 jumps and can both crawl and wall jump. Edward's stage entrance simply has him run onto the stage and get battle ready. Nothing crazy here. As for his taunts, his up taunt has Edward hold out his automail arm and say, "Come out and face me, you third-rate fraud." His side taunt has him say, "Sit back and enjoy the show," while clapping his hands together and alchemy shooting out all around it. And his down taunt has him transform into that style he's drawn in while he gets angry and shouts, "Don't call me little!" As for Edward's ults, his default will be his main attire he's mostly recognized in, red cloak and all. This is the main outfit he wears throughout the story. His second alt will be a silver and gray reed color based on Alphonse Elric, Edward's younger brother. His third alt can be a blue reed color based on the uniforms worn by the military of Ametris. His fourth can be a yellow based reed color based on Ling, the prince of the Xing nation. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. His fifth is a green recolor, which is a loose reference to Envy, one of the homunculi and main antagonists of the series. His sixth can be a white recolor, based on characters such as Truth and Father. His seventh can be an alt costume, that being his default minus the red coat. This is another variation of his outfit that we see him wear a lot, so I figured they should be in Smash Bros. And his eighth can be another alt costume, that being his main outfit completely torn, showing off his automail arm. This outfit, I believe, was seen in the first few chapters of the manga. And for Edward's victories, his first can have him tear off, or throw off depending on the alt, his coat, revealing his automail arm. This is a reference to, most likely the most famous scene in the franchise. Well, outside of that one, but I'm not going to show it here. His second can have him clap his hands together, slam them onto the ground, and alchemic lightning will shoot out around it. Basically his side taunt, but a little bit more adjusted to be more of a haha, I did it. And his final can have him pick up a suitcase, turn his back to the screen, wave goodbye, and walk off. He's gonna miss the train otherwise. Moving to his basic attacks, Edward's jab has him punch forward, followed up by an uppercut punch, and ends by kicking directly forward. His forward tilt has him do an uppercut kick. This attack comes out fast, but does low damage. His up tilt has him jump up and kick. Once again, this attack comes out fast, but this one does higher damage, unlike his forward tilt. His down tilt is a simple sweeping kick. Nothing crazy here. And his dash attack is a simple jump kick like Ryu's and Ken's.
Now moving on to his smashes, I'd like to note that they'll all involve Edward's alchemy, so they'll all start with Edward clapping his hands together and slapping them onto the ground. They'll also all change depending on the charge level.
Now for his side smash, Edward transmutates the ground to spike outward in front of him. This attack does a crap ton of damage, especially at full charge, and the range will also increase at full charge.
For his up smash, Edward will transmutate the ground to form pillars of fists that go up and around him. This attack does fair damage, but it's kinda hard to hit with how small the fists are at the very top.
And for his down smash, Edward transmutates the ground to form spikes on either side. Nothing crazy here, just an overall solid attack. Oh, and one more thing. All of his smashes play into his different specials for different various effects, but we'll get there later. Now for Ed's aerials, his neutral air is a simple spinning kick. His forward air will be a double kick, like Link's back air. Speaking of which, Edward's back air is a simple back kick.
His up air is a high arced kick,
and his down air is a low arced kick. Edward's grab has him grab with his left hand and pummel using his automail hand. It would be a painful yet slightly slower than normal pummel. For his forward throw, Ed spins around and rams into the opponent with his automail arm. This attack will launch opponents very far. Now back to his alchemy, his back throw will have him transmutate a column that slams into the opponent, doing decent damage and launching said opponent very far. His up throw has him transmutate earth spikes that launch opponents upward. Surprisingly, this is going to be his weakest throw. And his down throw has him transmutate a giant fist that slams down on opponents. This will be his most powerful throw with the ability to bury opponents.
and now it's time for Edward's specials, which is where his alchemic abilities are gonna go crazy. For Edward's neutral special, he will use Transmutated Stone Wall. This simply has Edward transmutate a stone wall right in front of him, which has a few different attributes. The wall will only stay up for a few seconds before crumbling, and only one wall can be up at a time. The wall will be able to block attacks and projectiles entirely, but will be immediately destroyed upon being hit. Oh, and there is a reload time after this move is finished. It'd be like somewhere between 3 to 5 seconds. I'm not entirely sure about times, but you wouldn't be able to use this move again until that timer is up. Now, I did mention earlier that his smashes can play into his specials, and let me go ahead and show you kind of what I mean by that. If his side smash is used on the wall, the side smash's range is going to increase like a lot, even more than if it was fully charged. However, there's not going to be a change in damage. However, if his down smash is used on the wall, the down smash's height will be increased with a small boost to damage. Basically, both smashes get a lot more range, with one getting a little bit more damage. Overall, it's a shield that can be used as an offensive option, but you have to play it right or you'll be locked out of it. For his side special, he'll use one of his favorite creations, the Transmutated Cannon. For this move, Edward transmutates a cannon that will fire off to hit opponents. The cannon can either automatically fire off, or, if side B is used on it again, will be manually fired. It will automatically go off after a few seconds though. No matter how it fires, once fired, the cannonball will go incredibly fast and deal above average damage. After fired, the cannon will crumble. Also, once again, only one can be on the stage at a time, but there is no reload time for this one. Now, if his up smash is used on it, the up smash's range will increase on all sides and the damage will increase. Overall, it's a powerful projectile that can have some devastating effects. For his up special, Edward will utilize a simple transmutated stone pillar. Edward transmutates a stone pillar that will lift him upwards. This attack goes pretty far up and fast, being one of the fastest recoveries in all of Smash Bros. It also can be used off stage. Don't question how, because I'm not going to. At the end of the attack, it can be used as a mini platform for a few seconds before it crumbles. Then, if Ed is still on it, he'll be put into freefall. It can be cancelled early by jumping or by using down smash. By doing this, the pillar will collapse into a fist that will fall down. Edward can ride down the fist or just jump off of it. The normal attack version, the rising pillar, can't do damage, but the down smash version with the fist will do high damage and will come out incredibly fast. And for his down special, Edward will use Transmutated Arsenal. Now, what does that mean? Well, do you remember when I said that he'd use alchemaic weapons? Well, that's what this is. For this move, a little selection menu will show up, and upon selecting an option, he will transmutate that weaponry. Said weaponry can change parts of his moveset entirely. He's already in one stance, hand-to-hand combat. There are two more, Automail Blade and Spear. Each can have different attributes. Hand-to-hand is average in every way, not bad overall. Automail Blade has slightly better range, has better speed, but does lower damage. Spear has great range, better damage, but has less speed. Once activated, Edward stays in this mode until A, you swap into another, or B, he's KO'd. But with that said, let's go over what moves change.
Now, not all the moves will change, so if they don't change, I won't mention them here. Also, his smashes and specials won't change at all, so don't worry about those. Anyways, let's start with the Automail Blade stance. His jab now becomes a diagonal slash, followed by another one in the other direction, and ends on a wide horizontal slash. His forward tilt becomes a wide arcing slash, which comes out much faster than the base one. His up tilt turns the blade into that scythe from the beginning of the series to do an overhead slash. It has about the same effects as his normal hand-to-hand combat one, but it is a bit slower. His dash attack turns into a stab with the blade that's angled downward. His neutral air actually stays pretty much the same, but it now uses his blade. His up air is a simple overhead slash. His down air is a stab downwards. His pummel now transmutates the blade into a spiked fist that punches opponents.
And his forward throw has him transmutate his blade into a backwards blade to launch opponents forward.
Now for the spear moves, his jab is basically the same as his Automail Blade jab, but with a spear. His forward tilt now is a stab with a spear that can be angled, something like Zelda's current forward tilt. His dash attack is now a basic lunge with the spear. His neutral stays the same as it is normally, but with a spear, so pretty much the same consistently. His up air becomes a simple overhead slash using the spear. His down air will be similar to his Automail Blade down air, but this move can spike. His pummel will have the spear transmutate into a spiked bat that Edward will slam into opponents. And his forward throw has Edward slam the spiked bat into the opponents to launch them farther than the other two versions of the forward throw. Overall, Edward's down special can make him a overall more fun character to play and can give people with different playstyles something to enjoy. It also means he will be insanely powerful. But now, let's wrap up this Smash kit with one last thing. Now we've come to Edward's final Smash, which I pretty quickly decided on. For this final Smash, I'm going to call it Fullmetal Heart. This final Smash comes directly from the anime and the manga, but for editing sakes, I'm going to pull it from a mobile game. I mean, I did that with Noctis, so... This will be a cinematic final Smash that starts with Edward doing an alchemaic rush to catch an opponent. Yes, the attack only hits one opponent, but trust me, it's gonna be powerful. Once the final Smash has truly started, Edward transmutates a stone pillar that slams into the opponent. Then, he transmutates a crap ton of stone fists that punch the opponent. Then, he transmutates his spear and throws it to stab the opponent like right through them. And then to finish it off, Edward just straight up punches the opponent. This attack does a crazy amount of damage and can launch the caught opponent far. Plus, at high damage, the opponent will be automatically KO'd. Overall, while this attack only hits one opponent, that opponent is going to feel the power of the Fullmetal Alchemist.
Ugh, sorry folks, I was trying to commit some human transmutation, but that does it for What If Edward Elric joined Smash Bros. This was a fun one. Is he the best character? Who's to say? I think he might be busted. I'm pretty sure he's busted. So he probably can't work as a feasible fighter, you know, with the stance change, the special and Smash integration, final Smash, just pretty much everything. He's got a lot of good things going on for his kit. However, because he has a little bit of a pipsqueak with, he's got some shorter range, so outside of the spear stance, you're not going to have the best range in the world. And what is it? Is neutral special? Yeah, that's the one that has the cooldown. I forget sometimes. But I think that being lightweight character, he can be knocked off and KO'd pretty easily. But I think his advantages balance out his disadvantages, I think. I'm not one for trying to figure out how these work viably or competitively. That's just not my style. I make the funny little kits because ha 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 ha. But anyways, that's pretty much it. That's all I've got to say about the Smash kit. I do want to say one thing special though. This kit is an OG kit. I mentioned it in the intro segment. That was like, oh, Larry Boy, you know, I mentioned him. But Edward was like one of the first kits that I came up with back in 2020. So what happened was, timeline time. There was seeing the petition for Larry Boy and Smash Bros. The crazy idea to turn that into a Smash kit, and then when COVID hit, my family was camping, and while we were there, one of the ideas I had for a Smash kit at the time was Edward Elric. I'm pretty sure it had some self-insert Pokemon characters as the ideas too, but those are probably not going to happen for hopefully obvious reasons. But this is an OG kit, and now he's finally done, thankfully. Ugh, this was a complicated one, and I'm tired from it. Not that saying that I hate the kit, I love it, but I'm just tired of working on it. I'm gonna make an easy kit next time. I hope you guys understand. But with that said, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. And before we part, I have some parting words for you. Don't commit human transmutation. You're going to lose your arm, your leg, both, your body, or who knows what. Or do. You can do it. I guess I can't really stop you. Don't do it. Bye-bye. Sure, that works.